As of writing this review, Hazbin Hotel is still going strong on the internet. This will definitely age well by the time this is finished and uploaded with the amount of delays this review has had, and I would formally like to apologize for that. Anyways, it's no secret that it's very popular among the animation community, and quite frankly, I too am a fan of the universe of hell VivziePop created. And if you're one of my close friends or know me on Discord, it's no secret I've gushed about this show, and even during the Super Bowl, I got my friend, Matthew, also known as Stardust9, to watch it during our now yearly Super Bowl bet. This review is going to be different compared to all my other weekend cartoon reviews based on cartoons, because I want to experiment and go in depth with a show for once. I'm going to gush about every aspect this show has, and I may reference and compare the show to Vivzie's other show, Hell of a Boss, which I reviewed in the past, and really enjoy it, and still do. There seems to be no line between the two sides of the spectrum. It's either you really love Hazbin Hotel, or you really hate Hazbin Hotel. Viewers of mine already know I ranked all of the songs of the show, so I won't gloss too much over that here, aside from giving my brief opinions on them and say if my opinion has changed on them. If you're here for me to talk about the show's controversies, however, I'm sorry, but that's not the focus of this video, and I won't go in depth with them. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here. Let's just dive right into the show and why I personally love this show so much. So what started this popularity train in the first place for this show? Well, let's go back to the very beginning. Vivian Mandrano is a YouTuber who dreamed of making a cartoon. The pilot for Hazbin Hotel garnered a lot of hype leading up to its release. It was a super ambitious project, and this is what really took off indie animation in my opinion. On the YouTube platform anyway. I've never seen a pilot come from YouTube and then get turned into a full-fledged series like this. The pilot got a lot of praise for its animation, music, and characters. Seriously, I've never seen a fandom spawn out of thin air just by this one pilot alone. Well, except for Digital Circus, I guess. But we'll talk about that show another time, I promise. It's truly impressive how far this show has come from its beginnings. Shortly after the pilot dropped online, another pilot would drop for a spin-off of the series taking place in the same universe, that being Hell of a Boss, which still has episodes coming out and currently has 2 seasons. If I'm being honest here, the comedy in Hell of a Boss was funnier than that of Hazbin Hotel, but where Hell of a Boss exceeds in comedy, Hazbin exceeds in the drama of the show that I got invested in. Soon enough, A24 would pick up the series, and it would be animated by Bento Box Animation, known for animating one of my personal favorites, Bob's Burgers. And seeing how good the animation was on the Bob's Burgers movie, we were for sure in for a treat. It is by far the best looking show they have animated. Period. They are no strangers to animating songs either, but here, they go all out. They then announced the voice actors would be changed out, and on the song by the old voice actors called Thank You and Goodnight, which is a bop, another song I'd like to single out as a bop that's from the voice of Alistair is called Insane, is also a bop. There's many more, but I just wanted to single out those two as some of my favorite fan-made Hazbin Hotel songs. Anyway, the old voice actor for Alistair commented that it was Vivian's dream to have a Broadway musical cast, and she got it. And me personally, I believe the new cast did a really good job. I almost don't notice a difference between the two. I'm sure if you watch the pilot and the actual show back-to-back, you'd notice it, but still. Soon, we got a release date window for summer 2023. But that didn't happen. And finally, after waiting 5 years after the pilot, we got Hazbin Hotel on January 19th, 2024. However, the show dropped the night before, and I was hooked onto the show. I didn't watch any trailers and went in as blind as I could. And I was a huge fan of the original pilot. However, it always wasn't like this. I wasn't super into the pilot when it first came out, but after a rewatch and loads more, I saw what the internet saw in this show. Now, let's get into what makes this show truly special. Hazbin Hotel is a show about a rehabilitation hotel in the middle of hell that redeems sinners and sends them to heaven to save them from a fate of being killed once more during heaven's yearly exterminations. The hotel is led by our optimistic protagonist, Charlie Morningstar, who had this goal because she is the princess of hell who doesn't like seeing her people suffer. She has a lot of issues going on and struggles to run the hotel and redeeming sinners, and almost every idea she has seems to fall flat on her face. Her character is the most consistent from the pilot. She's a positive, easygoing person who will always give anyone a chance no matter how bad they are. Now, let's talk about Vaggie. She is Charlie's girlfriend and the manager of the hotel, although she gets angered easily as she tries to be the voice of reason among the ensemble. She does her best to keep the hotel from having bad press. Anything else I can see about her will be said later on, when I go into all the episodes, because her character from here on out gets very spoilery. I suppose we could talk about Angel Dust next, who is my personal favorite character. He's the hotel's first guest. However, he's also a certain type of actor we most definitely cannot say in this video. He at first doesn't take Charlie's goals seriously, but uses the hotel as a source of comfort, and as a place he can relax from his horrible job that constantly abuses him. He's a character I can see a lot of people either relating to or feeling sorry for. However, he's slowly coming around throughout the season, but does have more progress to make. There's also Alistair, who is a radio demon that's the overlord of hell. He helps Charlie and the hotel simply out of boredom to watch a bunch of staff struggle to put together what in his eyes is a ridiculous idea. He also enjoys watching demons try and redeem, but ultimately fail. There's so much mystery surrounding his character, and it's perfect for him. Every time the guy is on screen, I just want to know more about him and what he does. See, he has such a calm and elegant exterior, but on the inside he's just ruthless and vile. So it begs the question, will he go against the cast? Which side is he on? You never know with him. The characters of Husk and Nifty are Alistair's souls owned to him. Husk is the bartender of the hotel, and Nifty is the hotel's maid. They are fun characters, but we'll go more in depth with Husk later, since I want to use this time here to give a basic description of all the characters. Nifty is very funny, though, and is a riot. She's typically sweet, but has a creepy demeanor. It's perfect for her design. That leaves us with the last of the hotel guests, Sir Pentious. He is an inventor and the second guest of the hotel who looks to redeem himself. I'll talk more about his whole character arc, since again, with Husk and Nifty, I don't want to go too much into spoilers as well as Vaggie. At least not yet. I failed to mention a few other characters here, like Adam, the V's, Lucifer, etc., but we'll get into them. I just want to hit all the main characters here and give you a general idea of what they're all like. Now, let's get on to the show. Consider this your spoiler warning, because there will be a lot from here on out. What better place to start than where it all began? The pilot. We open with a song called I'm Always Chasing Rainbows. This is where we get an introduction to Hell and a lot of the faces that will be important for the actual series. Going back, I didn't realize they were foreshadowing so much, or that all these seemingly background characters would be important to the actual series. The song is about how Charlie believes she's a failure and wonders why her dreams constantly get denied, that being to rehabilitate sinners. The song also takes place after an extermination of Hell has just finished. More on this later. Then we see one guy who survived the extermination immediately get killed after he cheers that he's alive. And that's when we meet Angel Dust, who just got back from his job of being an adult actor, or as his partner says, a slut. Angel Dust doesn't get offended by this and proceeds to insult his customer back, and he drives off. He then goes to buy drugs and it gets stolen by another guy who then gets killed, and Angel Dust doesn't like that his drugs are reduced to nothing. We then are introduced to Sir Pentious, who is the main antagonist of the pilot. He has a goal of wanting a territory takeover and has his Egg Boys by his side. He gloats about how he'll take over the pentagram, and the Egg Boys have some funny one-liners and praise Sir Pentious. He talks about his inventions and that Hell will be his. He then hears someone make fun of his name, and he blames the Egg Boys for it before Cherry Bomb throws a bomb into his aircraft. Cherry Bomb then hops on and provokes Sir Pentious and tells him to get off her turf before she smashes it more. Sir Pentious then tells her he's happy to fight her and laughs. Then we cut to the news. Oh boy, the news. Where Katie Killjoy and Tom Trench are reporting the fight between Sir Pentious and Cherry Bomb. We then learn that after the extermination that occurred off-screen that many areas can be claimed as territory, and that's why the two of them were fighting in the first place. Tom then talks about how he'd railed Cherry Bomb on the news, and Katie responds by spilling coffee on his dick, which got a lot of laughs out of me. This whole pilot did, if I'm being honest, but this was one of the best parts. Then Katie talks about how Charlie will soon be on the news talking about the hotel, when Katie refers to it as a passion project. We then get introduced to Vaggie, who is at the news station with Charlie preparing her for what to say during the interview. Charlie suggests she sings a song about the hotel, but Vaggie denies that, seeing how serious her first impression must be. Even though Charlie can display her goals through song, I do agree with Vaggie on this one. Why sing in the most important part of your presentation, which is your first impression, to make a change to Hell? Charlie then has more ideas on what to say, and Vaggie begs her to just follow the talking points the two went over off-screen. Charlie then goes to greet the news anchors, but Katie shows nothing but disdain for Charlie because she's gay. No, this is an exaggeration. That's literally said in the pilot. Don't cancel me. Katie then states that Charlie is only here because Jeffrey Dahmer couldn't make it for the cannibal cooking segment. Jeez, what does being busy in hell look like? I must know. Before the live, Katie continues threatening Charlie and shows nothing but disrespect toward her and that she doesn't care about what she has to say. I have to wonder something, though. How the fuck can Katie just crack her neck like that and move her head in all different ways? Not important, but just a thought. Katie then insists Charlie gets on with her passion project, and Charlie states that her dream as the Princess of Hell is to stop the exterminations in Hell by redeeming sinners, using her hotel to solve the overpopulation problem. Of course, after she states her goal, no one is taking it seriously, and we get a scene where Alistair is shown. The camera guy even insults the dream, and Vaggie responds by punching him. Seeing the silence across the room, Charlie decides to put on a musical number called Inside Every Demon is a Rainbow, which further explains her dream. Everyone laughs at her soon after, and Charlie is humiliated on television. Katie questions her methods, and Charlie responds by giving Angel Dust as an example to the experiment. Her and Tom still criticize her, and Charlie is shoved out of the way for new news on the turf war. Before we get on with that, I just want to say I feel bad for Charlie here. It's not nice to getting humiliated, especially on national television. I'd probably want to bury myself in a room if I ever got embarrassed on national television like that. But she doesn't stop with her goal after this. Sure, it's a common trope in media for that to be the case, but we'll get to why I think it really works in this series. What do you know? Angel Dust has taken part in the turf war, and Charlie gets reasonably nervous because she outed him as someone who's looking to redeem. Katie then insults her project, being dead on arrival, and Charlie straight up calls her a bitch. I mean, who wouldn't? I totally get it. If I was on national television and the news people were embarrassing me like that, I would do the same thing. However, what I wouldn't do is take it back afterwards like Charlie here does. Angel Dust and Cherry Bomb then are involved in the turf war, and we see them having some fun. Cherry wonders where Angel has been, and he states that he's staying at the hotel rent-free if he plays nice. During the fight, we further get Angel ranting about Charlie and Vaggie and how they aren't any fun. Then we get the funny line sometime after.
Oh, harder, Daddy!
Yeah, this scene always cracks me up. Angel and Cherry then provoke Penchus after he says they have no class. Angel continues to make sexual remarks toward Penchus, and when Penchus believes the tables have turned, Angel pulls out a gun and shoots him. Back in the news station, chaos! Why won't anyone help me? Back to the turf war, it just ends for some reason, and all conflicts just end, just like that. So then we see Angel, Charlie, and Vaggie inside a vehicle where Vaggie is going to scold Angel for taking part in a turf war, but Angel justifies this by saying he owed Cherry a solid. Vaggie is not having his shit, and Angel tries playing this off as no big deal. And yeah, his credibility may have been on the line, but Vaggie is more concerned about how the hotel looks to the public eye, rather than the credibility of Angel. Angel then says he'll try to take the hotel seriously, but just ends up being a complete asshole in the funniest way possible toward Vaggie. Then Angel asks a question that we'd all like to know when Vaggie says he's gonna kill him.
Would that make me double dead? Where exactly do I go? To double hell?
There a Vivzy Pop livestream for this question? I don't know if they explore that in Season 2, but my guess is they just disappear forever, or in some cases, like we see in the season finale, go to heaven, but more on that later. Angel seems more concerned about the fact he might not have a free room anymore, and Charlie calms Vaggie down. They all arrive at the hotel, and it shows Angel actually feels a little bad for Charlie's failed hotel pitch. Charlie then goes outside the hotel and calls her mother, who doesn't answer the call. She leaves a voice message asking for help out with the hotel, and we also get a foreshadowing of both Lilith and Lucifer here. We also see a frame of Lilith right there on the wall. Soon, someone is knocking on the door. That's someone being Alistair and Charlie. And Charlie gets scared, knowing he's the radio demon. Vaggie tells her not to let him in, but Alistair greets Charlie right then and there, acting friendly and talking about how much of a failure her pitch for the hotel was. Vaggie tries to defend Charlie, seeing how she believes that Alistair is here to hurt someone, which Alistair rejects. Alistair then says he's really here because he wants to help Charlie's idea of a hotel, then explains his reasoning for why he wants to help Charlie's so-called ridiculous idea, which is mostly out of his boredom and wants to watch a few people struggle, while also helping them. But he doesn't believe in Charlie's dream one bit. Angel Dust doesn't know who Alistair even is, and Vaggie explains the story to him. However, he's very uninterested in Angel-styled fashion. Vaggie still doesn't trust Alistair's presence, and Angel Dust makes quips on that.
Well, I don't trust him.
To be fair, do you trust any man? Any men? Men?
Vaggie tries to convince Charlie that Alistair is only here to cause trouble, but Charlie, while acknowledging the stories Vaggie has told of the radio demon, she refuses to turn away because it would go against her ideologies. Charlie then talks to Alistair about her dreams and knows full well that he doesn't take anything going on at the hotel seriously. She then decides to allow him to stay and work for her under the condition that he doesn't do anything shady. He lends his hand out to make a deal, and Charlie denies and uses her position as Princess of Hell to order him to help with the hotel for as long as he wants. Alistair notices the lack of hotel staff and then goes to Angel to ask what he does, and he responds with,
"And what can you do, my effeminate fellow?"
I can suck your dick.
Alistair rejects this, and then he makes the hotel all nice and pretty by bringing in Nifty, who cleans the hotel. Husk also comes out and runs the bar of the hotel. However, he's mad because he just lost out on a gambling game. Husk accepts the offer only because of alcohol, and Vaggie doesn't like the idea of a bar, but Angel insists that they're keeping it. Angel goes to the bar and tries to get a drink and acts all horny toward Husk. Charlie then greets him and is happy with Alistair's work thus far. Alistair then sings a song of his own toward Charlie about her dreams and how he'll help her. However, we are interrupted during the musical number because of Sir Pentious claiming to be here for Alistair. Alistair asks if he knows him and then tries activating the element of surprise, which fucks over his plans. Well, mainly due to Alistair destroying him, but I digress. The hotel's name was also changed from the Happy Hotel to the Hazbin Hotel. So, yeah, that's the very divisive pilot for Hazbin Hotel. However, mostly met with positive reception when it first came out. Years passed by and the show has grown to become divisive. I personally still think it holds up after all these years and definitely translates into the actual show. Good job, VivziePop! Now, as I mentioned, less than a year later, A24 picked up the pilot, and it would be animated by Bento Box Animation, the same studio that animated Bob's Burgers, and other adult cartoons. This is still by far the best thing they have ever animated, so let's talk about the show, episode by episode. I'll just start this section off by saying that you don't need to watch the pilot to watch episode 1. It is a direct continuation, but the way they set the show up is genius for those who are coming in for the first time without watching the pilot. It does enhance the viewing experience, but it is perfectly fine to watch for newcomers. Anyway, we start with an information dump of the lore between heaven and hell, how heaven is ruled by angels and gods that shield all its inhabitants from all evil, one of them being Lucifer. He was seen as a troublemaker among the other gods and angels and was conceived as problematic, and he just watched from the sidelines. Adam and Lilith were soon created by the angels, the first humans to ever live. Adam wanted control and Lilith didn't like that and ran off until Lucifer found her, and they rebelled and fell in love. They both had a shared desire for free will with humanity, and Adam was dating Eve. Lucifer gave her the fruit of knowledge, and that caused evil to roam into earth. As a result, all of heaven's work was destroyed, so they were punished and sent to hell. This sent Lucifer into depression and lost his will to dream, never being able to see the good humanity has done. Lilith then thrived with her songs, and expanded hell's population and power. Heaven felt threatened, and Adam sent in a plan to exterminate all sinners yearly so they can never, ever dominate heaven. Lilith then shared her dream with Charlie, who is her daughter, and that's your lore dump for why the hotel was made in the first place. I love this lore dump. It starts the series off perfectly for viewers who are first tuning into Hazbin Hotel. It is amazing and sets the tone for the series. In my opinion, Hazbin Hotel excels better in drama than comedy. Though there are funny moments still, Hell of a Boss does its comedy better, and while the drama is still good in that show, the drama in Hazbin Hotel is leaps and bounds better. It's refreshing, actually. Charlie looks out from a window holding the book of the story we were just told and swears she'll make her mom proud. Vaggie comes in and hears Charlie, and this is when we know an extermination is going on at this exact moment in time. Vaggie is concerned about Charlie, and the foreshadowing in this conversation is amazing. On rewatch, I notice all these bits of foreshadowing of what happens in the very last episode, and will probably connect to Season 2. Vaggie tells her she's sure she'll succeed in her dream, which I don't need to elaborate on as there was a whole pilot for that. She tells her Alistair has something to show them. What Alistair shows them is a commercial that is going to air in hell on television. It is a poorly made commercial and very unconvincing, but I'll admit it's very funny and would make me want to stay at the hotel ironically if I was in hell. I love hotels regardless, so there's that. I also like how the commercial introduces all the characters and their purpose from the pilot, without repeating anything from the pilot directly. That's impressive. He asks for feedback on the commercial, and Vaggie's more blunt with her criticisms, and Charlie tries to be as nice as possible toward him, because, well, he's the radio demon. Alistair responds to the criticism by saying he's been in hell for a long time, and he's used to using a radio instead of a TV. He doesn't even call it a TV since he barely knows what it is due to staying hidden for 7 years. Vaggie blows up at him a bit and knows he thinks all of this is a waste of time. We also know this takes place a week after the pilot. Angel suggests they use him for the commercial because of how talented he is, and Vaggie rejects because he is an adult actor. Angel suggests that he and Alistair should go at it in a commercial. I'll let you figure out what Angel means by that. Alistair declines and Charlie is still nice with the criticism given. Charlie also says she doesn't want to exploit Angel in that way, which is another moment of foreshadowing in episode 4. And you won't realize it on first watch, but when rewatching, this line is like, oh, so that's what he meant. Angel bloats about how his body was made to be exploited, and Charlie gets a call from her father, Lucifer. Charlie answers the phone, but we don't get any insight on the phone call. At least not yet. Angel asks if Alistair is so powerful, why can't he make people stay here? But Alistair debunks this claim and says he can. Husk then speaks up and says that that's why he's here. Nifty also speaks up and says she just likes being forced. Angel provokes Husk and Husk threatens him. Vaggie then says to let Husk do his thing, and sinners need to choose to stay at the hotel. Angel calls her idea stupid and says he'll stay there rent-free because crack is expensive. Vaggie also mentions something about how hell doesn't have to be at the end of the road, and there's probably a way out. I can't pinpoint whether or not this is foreshadowing, but at the very least it connects to other ideas the show brings up later on, and I love that. Back with Charlie, we finally get the insight on the phone call as she calls Vaggie over the hallway. Charlie then states the leader of the Angel Army wants a meeting, and Lucifer asks if she can go instead. Charlie gets excited because this is her first meeting with Heaven, and she breaks into a musical number, Happy Day in Hell. This musical number describes how Charlie is excited about her meeting with Hell and describes the setting of Hell perfectly. It is the perfect musical number for the first one. There's several gags as well, but like I said at the start of the video, if you want me to go more in depth with the musical numbers, go watch my ranking video on them. We now enter Heaven and Charlie enters the embassy. No one's inside, until she enters a room with the leader of the Angel Army, which of course is Adam. He plays jokes on her, and right beside him is his subordinate, Loot. Adam continues to fuck with Charlie throughout this interaction, and back at the hotel, they're working on a new commercial. Husk and Angel fight on set in an albeit hilarious interaction. Anyway, back to Heaven. Adam talks about how he's the original dick, telling stories to Charlie about how he's the first man on Earth. Charlie talks nice to Adam and compliments him, so she tries to negotiate with him on Hell's biggest problem, to which he thinks is herpes. Which, when told no, he lists several other problems, but in reality it's the exterminations. Back at the commercial-making process, Nifty stares into the void. Vaggie is also stressing on editing, and Alistair comes into the room and states his whole reason for being at the hotel is the same one from when it was in the pilot, to introduce new viewers as to why he's here. If all he does is fuck around and not take anything seriously in the hotel, the answer? His boredom. And to fix that boredom, he likes watching others struggle. Vaggie actually blows up on him this time and says he's going to help the hotel whether he wants to or not, and he agrees and tries to make a deal with Vaggie. However, it's not for her soul, and so he doesn't have to use television technology again, if he helps make this commercial work in the way Charlie wants. Back with Charlie and Adam, Charlie just flat out states the problem in Hell is the overpopulation in Hell. Adam says that it's not a problem due to the exterminations and asks Loot how many demons she killed this year. Charlie argues on the system because the souls are human beings too. Adam and Loot don't care about their lives and say angels don't make mistakes and earn going to heaven. Adam denies making any mistakes in his life. Loot also states that Charlie doesn't matter, and the only reason she's here is because Lucifer gave her a pardon from death. Adam calls time on the meeting, and Charlie gets ready, to which the musical number, Hell is Forever, starts. In this song, Charlie starts by sharing her vision of the hotel to Adam. Adam denies her plain and song from calling it ridiculous, saying Hell is forever, and denies that sinners can change and go to heaven. He calls his exterminations fun and decides to move to the next extermination from a year to 6 months, and tells Charlie to give up her dreams. Vaggie greets Charlie and surprises Charlie in the new commercial. They try to show her the new commercial until a news broadcast interrupts them. The news anchors announce that the extermination was lowered to 6 months, which sends Hell in a panic. Adam comes down to hell and notices the body of an exorcist from the last extermination. Lute suggests they just kill all the sinners, but then Adam says they can't just do that, and says during the next extermination, something like that won't occur again. We start this episode with Charlie panicking about the upcoming extermination, and because of what happened during the meeting between her and Adam, who I've mentioned before, but if it wasn't obvious, he's the main antagonist of the season. Vaggie says they'll handle the issues, and Angel doesn't believe them as he's getting texts from Valentino, who we will see later on in this episode, and all these text messages are foreshadowing for episode 4. Angel talks about the media and how the extermination deadline was lowered and the reactions that have come from it. Charlie sees this as an opportunity to get more people to the hotel, until Sir Pentious shows up to cause trouble, looking for Alistair. The two of them bicker for a bit, and Pentious says that the V's, who we will get to later, will acknowledge him. He also states that he and Alistair have battled a lot before. Nifty asks who the V's are, and Alistair says they're no one important. We then get introduced to the V's, whose names are Vox, Velvet, and Valentino, and all of them get an episode to shine. This one would be Vox's, however. Vox is the leader, and he controls Pentagram City, brainwashing its citizens, as you can see here, with Vox Tech and various television shows. He's also Alistair's rival. Velvet is all about fashion and social media, always trying to keep up with the latest trends, and describes herself as the backbone of the V's, which is a line from a song in the next episode. Then we have Valentino, who is Angel's boss. I will talk a lot more about him later. Velvet calls Vox while there's a disaster going on, and Velvet says it's an emergency, and rudely tells Vox to get there. We are met with several interviewers about what Vox thinks of the exterminations, and announces he's releasing a new product and hypnotizes everyone in the room, and tells one of his employees to get to work on said product, which is angelic security for the exterminations. Velvet is upstairs judging all the fashion models and being overly critical, while Vox is looking for Val. Velvet is overly rude still in interactions with Vox, and is still judging people, saying Val tore up her best model. She basically tells Vox to fuck off and meets with Val. Val explains his frustrations, and why he's throwing a tantrum is because Angel walked out on him, and isn't responding to his texts. Val is also angry at the fact Angel moved to the hotel, and Vox is confused when he finds out Angel is living with Charlie. Val threatens to go to the hotel and get Angel himself, but Vox stops him because his reputation will be bad, and that Val has Angel under contract. Val is pissed because he wanted to shoot someone, and Vox quickly calls up the lowest earners, and soon after, Val reveals Alistair is back and is staying at the hotel. Vox gets mad and views the aftermath of the fight Alistair and Pentious just had, with Pentious losing and Alistair leaving to the tailor. Vaggie objects because he needs to do his job, but then he summons construction workers to rebuild the hotel's wall. Val gets upset at Angel talking to another guy, and then we soon break into my favorite song of the entire show so far, Stayed Gone. Vox and Alistair are basically singing, talking badly about one another, over both their platforms, television and radio, and then Alistair states he'll win, and will make sure Vox stays gone. Vox cries in defeat and has a meeting with his employees, saying he needs to make sure a deal doesn't happen between Alistair and Charlie. Vox has the idea of sending someone from the inside of the hotel to spy on them. Val doesn't know who they could possibly send, but Vox knows just the guy, who I will reveal once we get to that scene. Charlie comes back from trying to recruit people to stay at the hotel, and her attempts are unsuccessful. Pentious soon shows up at the door, and Vaggie arms herself and asks what he's doing there. Charlie greets him and says he comes in peace. He claims to know about her ad, and Charlie welcomes him inside. Angel is concerned with Charlie's choice to let him stay at the hotel since he was just trying to kill them hours earlier. Vaggie decides to let him stay as well since he's not much of a threat, and Pentious gets happy. Charlie starts showing him around, and Vaggie says she doesn't need to show every detail, but she's so excited because he's the first guest. Angel calls her out and asks what the hell he is, but then Pentious says it's nice to have someone interested for once, which saddens Angel. Charlie continues to show her around, and Pentious gets scared of Nifty and Alistair, and tries teaching him how to apologize after he ruined Alistair's coat. Alistair is impressed with how much he took off him, and they start playing a game where they all get to know each other. Angel calls it stupid, and they soon play another game that's a role-play between a crack dealer and a kid, played by Angel and Pentious. Angel decides to go to his room as Charlie congratulates Pentious for his role. Angel listens to several voice messages from Val, and it really shows how toxic their relationship is, since he owns Angel's soul, and his boss is in the adult industry. Angel grabs more alcohol and notices Pentious putting a camera up inside the hotel. Angel realizes he's working for the V's, and Angel decides to fight him. Charlie and Vaggie are awoken by the chaos, and Angel exposes him for being a spy. Which, yes, this is who Vox employed to spy on the hotel. He calls Vox, and Vox mocks him for failing after not even a day, and tells him to die. Pentious is ready to die, and Vaggie is willing to do the job. Charlie stops him and sings the musical number, It Starts With Sorry, a song where Charlie and Pentious have a heart-to-heart about forgiveness, and Vaggie and Angel are willing to kill him for being a spy. In the song, Charlie convinces the hotel to forgive him, which they do, and so does Charlie. After the song ends, they all agree to get rest, and Alistair checks in with Vox, saying he has to do better than that, and crushes the watch. The episode ends there. We start this episode with Charlie being excited over the fact that Pentious has stayed at the hotel for a week, and Vaggie mentions he's out terrorizing the city, but Charlie doesn't notice any of that. Pentious brings an invention into the hotel called the Skin Slayer and wants to shoot the other residents, because everyone is being too nice, and he believes the residents are planning on killing him. We also hear the name Carmine, as in Carmilla Carmine, who is an overlord, which we'll talk more about later on. That's who Pentious got his supplies from, but he mentions that she's the top weapon dealer in hell. Vaggie debunks his reasoning for this and forbids him from building weapons inside the hotel. Pentious has his suspicions on whether or not everyone is nice. He doesn't trust anyone in there, and Charlie believes they should play a game based on trust. Vaggie sets some ground rules toward Pentious, one of them being he can't have his egg boys anymore, which makes him sad as they leave the hotel. Vaggie meets with Alistair, who is eating breakfast, and she tells him to get rid of the egg boys. He at first wants to kill them, but Vaggie tells him no, so he takes them out for his meeting with the other overlords. Charlie and Vaggie soon start the trust exercise activities in the lobby, and Husk doesn't want to do them, but Angel says he will for a price. Charlie has Vaggie take charge of the trust exercises and acts like a drill sergeant when doing so, and orders everyone to do trust falls. Charlie and Vaggie do one, and Angel and Husk also do one while making quips to one another. Pentious does one, and then Nifty tries to do it, until the rest of the staff gets creeped out, and she keeps putting herself in pain. Charlie wonders if this is working out, and Angel says he has ideas, if they are looking for any. Vaggie sighs and asks what he has in mind. Alistair takes the Egg Boys to the meeting, but he is shown really annoyed by their chatter. Zestiel appears and greets Alistair. Alistair threatens to murder one of the Egg Boys if he doesn't shut up, and the two continue to have chatter. People also die and get scared at the sight of both the overlords. While the two of them continue to talk, they board an elevator and Alistair orders the Egg Boys to stay in front of the meeting building. One of the Egg Boys gets caught in the elevator and more overlords arrive. Carmilla is the one who organized the meeting to talk about the exterminations and what can be done to lower the casualties with the new schedule. She continues to talk and greet the other overlords, stating 16% of the population was lost. Velvet soon enters the room and interrupts the meeting while on a phone call with Vox, stating she's got the meeting under control and calls the overlords a joke. Carmilla asks if Vox and Val will be joining them, and she says no, since they got better shit to do than listen to her. She's, the representative of the V's for this meeting. Velvet pulls out an angel's head from the extermination and suggests to provoke heaven and then take the fight to them, if they can pull that off. Velvet and Zestiel argue about this decision and ends up with Velvet calling him a pussy for not wanting to take the fight to heaven, which leads to the not very duet, more argumentative musical number called Respectless. This song basically goes that Carmilla is giving Velvet an ego check, but Velvet dismisses her completely. It also leads to the meeting ending, and Alistair calls it a productive meeting. Velvet continues to be disrespectful, but I should mention during the song she also suspects Carmilla is the one who killed the angel, which is foreshadowing I didn't even think about when watching the show. The overlords all leave the meeting, and Alistair tells one of the Egg Boys to follow the other overlords. I apologize if, my tongue got twisted a bunch there. It's, it happens. Anyway, we cut back to the hotel, seeing Angel's idea come to light, and it's very NSFW. Vaggie gets mad, and Charlie tries rejecting him off nicely. Nifty also says she's ready to punish some bad boys. Take that of what you will. Charlie obviously gets uncomfortable, and yeah, a lot happens in these scenes. Vaggie still insists that they do it her way and how she got to trust people. By violence! She throws Pentious and Angel into the fight, saying they'll trust each other by survival. Charlie also objects to this method, and Vaggie says they need to get their shit together for the next extermination. Vaggie starts breaking down and gets sad, believing she's a failure. Charlie assures her otherwise, but Vaggie prefers to be alone. Charlie walks away with Pentious and Angel surviving their activity. The three of them go back to the hotel. In the next scene, Carmilla reveals that yes, she is, in fact, the one who killed the angel to protect her kids from the extermination. She gets stressed about her choice, but believes it was the right thing to do. Then my personal least favorite musical number, Whatever It Takes, plays, which is basically how I described it, with Vaggie, Carmilla, and Zeshield getting parts each. We get a better song later on in the show called Out for Love, which I'll go into when we get there, but it's similar to this one, just without Zeshield. Anyway, after Alistair gets back, he wants the Egg Boys to report what they heard between the Overlords. Alistair finds out Carmilla was the one who killed the angel and agrees to keep it secret between them. Charlie and Vaggie reconcile, and they both apologize to one another for their mistakes during the trust exercises. However, the exercises also benefited the hotel guests and got them to bond. Alistair returns with the Egg Boys and calls them useful. Vaggie has him give them back to Penchas, which makes him really happy because she trusts them with them now. Penchas bonds with them about their day with Alistair. He reveals to Penchas accidentally about how Carmilla killed an angel, and now it's bedtime. Yeah, the episode just ends there. Next episode, please. We start this episode off with Angel showing the Hazbin Hotel his award-winning adult video for Show and Tell Day. Husk criticizes the scene and calls it garbage, which upsets Angel, and the two get into an argument. Husk also criticizes and calls everyone out on their flaws in the lobby, and calls Angel fake. Angel says he's an actor and gets a phone call from Val about what he calls an quote-unquote emergency shoot. Charlie tries getting Angel to stay in the hotel to finish their activities, but Angel persists and says he has to go to his job, and if she wants to fix things, to fix Val. Charlie is panicking because they don't have much time left to prove the hotel's success. Vaggie gives her a pep talk and says to be more authoritative. Charlie objects at first until Vaggie tells her she's not being mean, and this gives Charlie the idea to be aggressively kind to Val. Angel is shooting a scene and Angel is frustrated, but Val tells him to improvise the scene, to which he does. Charlie shows up at the film studio and tells Angel that she's going to get things sorted with Val and get time off for the hotel. Angel says she's not going near Val. Val calls Angel over and asks what the holdup is, and Angel tries rushing Charlie out the door, saying they'll talk about it later. Val notices Charlie at the door and licks her arm, making her uncomfortable knowing she's the Princess of Hell. He tries convincing her to become a star in his movies, and she declines, saying she's here to speak to her about Angel. And Angel gets even more scared. Val gets annoyed and Angel continues the shoot. Charlie is shown talking to the crew, and Val cuts, asking what's going on, and Charlie asks if she was too loud. He insists he's not annoyed, but come on, that face says it all. Charlie offers the idea to pitch a more wholesome script than the one Angel is acting out, and accidentally starts a fire. Val quickly puts the fire out, and Charlie apologizes for what happens, and tries to make it up to Val. Val declines and asks Angel to see him in the dressing room, where one of the most hard-to-watch scenes occur. Val slaps Angel, misreading the situation, and abuses him while in the room. Val believes Charlie is trying to get him out of work, and then reminds him that Angel signed a contract, with his soul belonging to him. I don't think I can describe the rest of what's going on without YouTube getting up my ass, but he also orders Angel to get Charlie out of the studio, and that he'll be filming all night long. Yeah, that's about as much as I can say. Val comes out and says they're going to start filming again until Charlie stands up for Angel, and Angel yells at her to leave, saying she was only trying to help. Angel feels horrible about what he did, and the musical number, Poison, starts playing, with Angel talking about his experiences as an adult actor, and how much he regrets his choice. Angel finally gets home and has Husk make a drink for him. Husk points out he doesn't look good, and has Husk make more drinks for him. Angel mocks him, and Husk advises him not to drink due to his issues, and suggests they do stuff in the bedroom. Husk calls Angel fake, which pisses him off, and he falls down. Angel has a meltdown and leaves the hotel, with Vaggie asking what Husk did, and he said he gave him a drink. Charlie also admits she fucked up at the studio, and Angel wasn't happy. Vaggie makes Husk go out and find him because he was the one that caused it. Charlie feels remorse for what she did, and Husk reluctantly goes out to find Angel, while she writes lesson plans on boundaries. Husk finds Angel at a bar and gets frustrated at Angel's fake persona. Husk notices a drink getting poured that looks suspicious and starts a fight inside the bar while dragging Angel out. Husk tries taking Angel back to the hotel. Angel says he lets people spike his drink all the time, and Angel also insists that he can handle himself. Husk tries getting him to open up, saying no one cares how famous he is and he should just drop the act. Angel cries and says that's who he needs to be and that it's his escape. Angel also reveals he's doing all of this to ruin himself enough for Val to let go of him. Husk feels bad and starts talking to him about him being the gambler overlord, and he fucked his own life too by turning to Alistair and how he regrets it. This leads to him singing a musical number called Loser Baby, which perfectly shows how much Angel and Husk are suffering on the inside, and little by little, they'll find a solution to their problems. And that they're losers, baby. It's no wonder that this one's a fan favorite and my second favorite song in the entire show. Number one being Stayed Gone, of course, which I've stated before. The people at the bar come out and try and kill the two before they all start fighting, and they, of course, win the fight. The two of them bond on their way home to the hotel, which is really nice, talking shit about Val. Charlie apologizes and Angel forgives her and tells her thanks for caring about him. Vaggie gets ready to put Charlie to bed. Angel and Husk go get a drink, and the episode ends. We start this episode off with Charlie having a crisis on how to get the hotel to work, and Vaggie is concerned. Charlie is shown at her near breaking point, and Vaggie suggests that Charlie calls her dad, which annoys her because she has daddy issues. Charlie reminds Vaggie that her dad was the one who started the exterminations in the first place, which of course would be Lucifer. Charlie changes her mind and says that Lucifer could get them a meeting with Heaven, and believes Adam isn't the one in charge of all of Heaven. The other residents of the hotel express interest in meeting Lucifer, especially Nifty, which creeps Angel out. We see Lucifer in the present day for the first time, pretty much going crazy, playing with a rubber duck, and soon he gets a call from Charlie, and doesn't know what to say, wanting to make a good impression. He's shown struggling, trying to act busy, and Charlie tells him about the Hazbin Hotel she's trying to run. Charlie tells him exactly what she wants, which is to talk to the highest person in charge of Heaven, and Lucifer, without hesitation, says no. Charlie begs and asks him to come to the hotel himself, and he gets excited, saying he'll be there in an hour, which Vaggie has everyone make the place impressionable, and they all get to work. Lucifer soon arrives at the hotel, excited to meet everyone, and towards the place. Alistair greets Lucifer, and Lucifer is shown quickly annoyed with him, and the two start arguing, trying to one-up each other, and I'll admit it's really funny. Charlie breaks up the fight, and Alistair says that he's happy to fulfill her requests at any given time. He's shown clearly provoking Lucifer, and says he should introduce him to everyone else in the hotel, which he does, and they all have interactions with one another. Soon, a chandelier falls down, and we get the musical number, Hell's Great Dad, which is a song of Lucifer and Alistair fighting for Charlie's approval, trying to convince her who's better than one another. That was a vomit of a sentence. I hope that made sense. But it's just them trying to one-up each other. At the end of the song, Mimsy appears, which is what really made me like the song less. Alistair greets her, and it's revealed they've been friends for a long time. She came to the hotel to see him again, and Charlie is more than happy to welcome her in. Mimsy talks about her connection with Alistair and notices Lucifer is in the room. Lucifer and Alistair continue to fight for Charlie in terms of showing the hotel off. Mimsy tries getting settled in with the other residents of the hotel and strikes a convo with Husk, which annoys him. She also strikes another convo with Nifty. Angel gets curious to know how Mimsy and Alistair met, and what Alistair is all about, because not much is known regarding him in general. He's such a mystery, and the show really plays on that aspect a lot. Mimsy talks about how Alistair just showed up in hell one day and started taking down overlords and broadcasting their screams, because no one took him seriously when he first got to hell, and anyone who also messed with him would receive the same fate. Angel and Pentious are creeped out by this story, but Mimsy insists that he's a nice person behind all of that. Mimsy tells them to stop looking at it that way and asks for a drink, but Husk goes missing. Charlie explains to Lucifer what the ultimate goal for the hotel is, which is to check them into heaven and prove redemption is possible, and they need time to prove it. Husk wants a word with Alistair about Mimsy believing she's there because she wants something from Alistair, to which Alistair says that's nothing he can't handle and not to worry. Then we get the question open to why Alistair was gone all those 7 years, and Alistair dismisses Husk's question about to which Alistair claims Husk is his pet, because he owns a soul. And then Husk talks back, saying that Alistair is also on a leash, which pisses him off and threatens to tear apart his soul and broadcast his screams. Husk gets terrified of this. The tour finishes and Charlie asks Lucifer what he thinks of Charlie's plan to help sinners. He then tells Charlie like it is and asks how much she realistically expects from the sinners, and Heaven has lots of rules. Charlie and Lucifer debate for a bit on their people, and Lucifer is right by saying they're awful, 'cause, well, it's hell. The conversation is soon interrupted by loan sharks who are out for Mimsy. Mimsy explains the situation to Charlie and Vaggie, that loan sharks are after her and she did all these bad things to them, and the hotel is soon set on fire. Lucifer tries using this to prove a point, and Vaggie tries to fight them off herself, but Alistair insists he'll do it since he wants to remind everyone why he's here. Alistair quickly defeats the loan sharks like the radio demon he is. Lucifer tries to convince Charlie of his point further, but Charlie says that he's doing it for her, even if his methods are sadistic. Charlie also makes the point that Alistair has more faith than her own father, which Lucifer gets to realize, but Angel is enjoying the father. Alistair finishes his work and Mimsy praises him. Alistair soon tells Mimsy to leave immediately, but Mimsy believes he's joking. But Alistair says he means it because she put the hotel in danger and forced Alistair to clean up her mess. Alistair also says she can stay if she wants to give Redemption a chance, and she leaves. Charlie begs for Lucifer's help and we get the musical number, More Than Anything, which highlights the relationship between Charlie and Lucifer. Lucifer agrees to get the meeting for Charlie after the song and insists she'll be okay. Charlie says Vaggie's also going, and she doesn't seem to like that. We'll get to that as soon as we can get into the next episode. The next episode starts with Charlie packing up to go to heaven, and Vaggie tries to lie to Charlie about why she can't go to heaven. You'll see why soon. Charlie encourages her to go with her anyway, and she reluctantly does. Angel starts venting about how much Val is making him work until Cherry Bomb shows up and bombs a wall in the hotel. Angel is happy to see her, stating he's been texting depressing shit to her and saying they should blow stuff up like old times, while Charlie is holding a bomb. Vaggie tosses it and it explodes. Obviously. Cherry encourages Angel to go out and have some fun in her way, but Charlie tries changing it into a positive spin by calling it a responsible night. Charlie greets herself to Cherry, who introduces the hotel to her and its staff, and Charlie forces a night out between Angel, Cherry, and everyone else staying at the hotel, bribing Cherry into doing so. The portal to heaven soon opens, and Charlie and Vaggie are off. Pentious reintroduces himself to Cherry as his enemy, but Cherry tells him that she has to take all of them out, which gets Pentious nervous and confused by this. Charlie and Vaggie enter heaven, and Vaggie is upset that she's even there. We are also introduced to Peter, who welcomes Charlie and Vaggie into heaven and tries to find them on the list, but they aren't on it. When Charlie says to try Lucifer, Peter asks if they're lost, but Sarah and Emily come down from the sky and decide to take things from there. They greet them, and we get the musical number, Welcome to Heaven. Oh, it's a poppy song where Peter, and it's a song where he shows them around heaven. It's a catchy little jingle. Adam and Lute walk by and notice Vaggie and get agitated by this. Adam wanting to handle the situation right then and there, but Lute holds him back because Adam would start a fight in front of everyone, and the secret that the exorcists only know about the exterminations would be let out, which gives a new layer of things on top of what else we're gonna know. Sarah comes in and talks to Adam, stating that the exterminations were only allowed to keep heaven safe, and Lucifer got involved with Charlie's dreams. Sarah wants Adam to keep the problem from getting worse. Back with Charlie and Vaggie, they check into a hotel room, and Charlie talks about how much fun she's having in heaven. Vaggie stays behind, and Adam knocks on the door, trying to dismiss him. Adam insists he wants Vaggie right now and not Charlie. This is because it's revealed Vaggie was one of the exorcists during the exterminations. That makes you wonder why she's even in hell in the first place, and I'll show you. Vaggie was chasing someone in hell who was a child and told the kid to run away, refusing to kill it. Lute slashed her eye out and wings so she gets stranded in hell. Charlie then takes her in. Adam then tells Vaggie that he'll tell Charlie that she was an exorcist if he joins Adam again, and helps him shut down Charlie's dream, and Vaggie says no. Adam then says he'll tell Charlie about Vaggie killing thousands of her people, and that he'll see her in court. Court is in session, and Charlie is asked to plead her case, and is soon rejected by Adam. Sarah also agrees with the objection and continues on. The rejection is because Charlie used a dictionary to define redemption. She looks at her notes, and all of them are from the dictionary. Adam states that she better have evidence that a sinner can be redeemed, and she states Angel Dust is a patron trying to be redeemed. Adam mocks this, and Charlie asks him what he thinks it takes to get into heaven. Adam has a hard time answering the question, and says to get into heaven, you need to act selfless. Don't steal, and stick it to the man. Vaggie gets annoyed, and Adam asks Sarah if this is true, and Adam says he was the first human soul in heaven. Charlie shows the evidence to the court that Angel is improving himself, and all of the guys from the hotel are having fun at the bar. Pentious offers to buy Cherry a drink. Cherry asks why, and Pentious says it's because he's gonna buy everyone a drink! Angel vents about Val again, and Cherry encourages him not to talk about him because he already ruined its day, and has him take drugs. Husk says he's disappointed with the way things are playing out, and Angel changes his mind on the drugs. Cherry encourages him to take the drugs anyway, but he reluctantly accepts. Angel then decides to get fucked up after taking a shot because Penchus bought another shot for everyone. Adam tries wrapping up the court case by saying Angel chose a night of drinking, and Charlie objects, asking if Adam has ever had a drink after a hard day. Adam tells her there's no such thing as bad days in heaven, and asks what Vaggie thinks, and she has to go to the bathroom. Charlie asks to play more footage of the night, and Sarah allows it. They all are continuing to drink, and Nifty is causing problems for everyone at the bar. Cherry asks Angel why he's looking after Nifty, and he says it's because she's not used to this kind of scene. He ends up calling her a mess, which makes her cry, and he quickly tries to comfort her. They all continue to drink, and Penchus asks if Cherry wants to have sex with him. And Cherry asks why, and it's because he's gonna have sex with everyone. Cherry asks why he doesn't just do this every night, and Husk assures her that the problem isn't with the hotel and him trying to better himself. It's Valentino, except he's also at the club. Angel tries getting them all out of there, but Nifty runs toward Val, and Angel chases after her. Val sees both Angel and Nifty and tries getting Nifty a job. Angel tells Val to fuck off, and this leads to Val hitting him and reminding him that his soul belongs to him, and that he'll enjoy making Angel pay for it in the studio. Angel also tells him during the exchange that he only owns him in the studio and not out here. Angel doesn't care because it was worth it, and Husk is proud of the way he stood up to him. Angel offers Cherry to stay at the hotel, but she declines and decides to continue to go wild. This is all presented as evidence to the courtroom, and Adam looks confused, asking why Angel isn't even in heaven. Emily also questions this, and Charlie also questions if they even know what a soul gets into heaven, or what it takes to get a soul into heaven, rather. Sarah tries to stop this whole thing, and we get a musical number called You Didn't Know. During this song, it's everyone fighting on their own beliefs, and at the end of it leads to Adam revealing to Charlie that Vaggie was an exorcist, which devastated Charlie. This also shows Emily finding out about the exterminations, and everyone else in the courtroom finding out as well. Adam wins the court case and says they're going to the hotel first during the next extermination, and sends them back to hell. Sarah and Emily resent Adam for this, and Adam goes off. Emily and Sarah argue about whether or not the exterminations are right. Emily thinks it's wrong no matter what, and Sarah says she's only doing it because hell was uprising against them, and she doesn't want to see Emily end up like Lucifer. The episode ends. The episode starts off with a meeting between all of the inhabitants, with them having small interactions, mostly between Nifty, Angel, and Vaggie. But Husk asks why they got into deeper shit every time Charlie has a word with Heaven. Vaggie defends Charlie, saying it's not her fault, and everyone believes it's their doom. Alistair gets the idea to go see her after Vaggie states she's in her room when everyone asks where she is. Charlie is crying in her room, and Alistair sees her. Alistair makes a joke about her picking a fight with Heaven, and Charlie is completely stressed out to deal with him. Alistair says everyone downstairs is waiting for her to make the next move, and Charlie still beats herself up about what happened in Heaven. Charlie wonders why Alistair enjoys the suffering inside the hotel and believes she's crueler than the worst overlord in hell because they don't go around giving false hope. Alistair says that just because you see a smile doesn't mean you know what's going on underneath. And that's probably the realest thing this guy has said throughout the entire show so far. Charlie soon lets out all of her problems, such as finding out Vaggie was lying to her about being an angel, Heaven not wanting to listen to her, etc. Alistair tells Charlie that he knows more about the angels and that they're not as indestructible as Charlie thinks. Charlie insists she'll do anything to know more about what he means, and Alistair suggests they make a deal. Charlie believes Alistair wants her soul, but instead, he just wants favors from her little by little, where she doesn't harm anyone. They make the deal, and Vaggie comes rushing to her room, pleading that Charlie doesn't make a deal with Alistair. Alistair assures her that she doesn't owe him a soul. Through the deal, Charlie says that they can stop the angels through Carmilla Carmine, because she killed an exorcist before. Vaggie says she didn't know angels could be killed, and Charlie asks if she knew, would she tell her? And Vaggie feels even more guilty. Charlie orders Vaggie to go to her, and Vaggie still doesn't like that Charlie made a deal with Alistair. Charlie and Alistair go off to find numbers to help them in the fight against the angels. Vaggie soon sets off until she goes to the lobby, and Angel asks if they should be alarmed because Charlie and Alistair left. Husk doesn't like the idea of them going to kill angels, and one of the Egg Boys talks about the exact same thing, and that he told Penchus months prior. Vaggie gets agitated, and Penchus defends himself, stating he didn't know that one was real. Vaggie gives us a bit of a speech saying she understands if they decide to quit the hotel after they learn to fight angels, because the hotel will become the most dangerous place in hell soon. She still believes in Charlie's dream, though, so there's that. Charlie is ranting to Alistair about her problems and how Vaggie lied to her and that Charlie trusted her for so long, until she realizes they are in Cannibal Town because Alistair has a friend who can help defend the hotel and boost their numbers. This is where we are introduced to one of Hell's overlords, Rosie. She's the leader of Cannibal Town, and while she's talking with someone, she notices Alistair and gets really happy to see him. Charlie wonders who she is, and Alistair introduces them both to one another. Kinda wonder how Charlie doesn't know her already because she's the Princess of Hell. Rosie tries offering Charlie some fingers and other body parts to eat, and she politely rejects. Rosie asks Charlie what she can do for her. Charlie pleads her case. The angels are targeting her hotel first in the upcoming extermination and need the cannibals' help to defend the hotel. Rosie accepts the offer when Alistair suggests that the cannibals can eat the angels after they are done. Charlie thanks her for this. Vaggie knocks on Carmine's door, exclaiming she knows what she did on Extermination Day and lets her in. Vaggie walks in and doesn't hear anything, but Carmine soon answers and says she has 2 minutes before she is silenced for good. Vaggie desperately tries getting Carmine's help, but she's stubborn to not give it, and help them during the exterminations. When Vaggie's time is up, Carmine decides to give in and tell her all she knows, and decides to teach Vaggie in the end. Rosie unites all of Cannibal Town together to listen to Charlie's case on the exterminations. Rosie warns Charlie that the cannibals stick together, and she's gonna have to convince all of them if she wants them to help. She's warned about Susan, who's described as a bitch. Rosie asks Charlie if she's ready to convince the town, and she is. Once Rosie announces Charlie is ready to talk, Susan strikes and says she wants Rosie back. Charlie tries talking, but Susan keeps interrupting her. Eventually, Charlie snaps and Rosie pauses the speech. Back with Vaggie, Carmine is teaching her how to beat an angel by beating her. Carmilla knows she's an exorcist and asks Vaggie if she knew she could be harmed when she was an exorcist, and she says no. Vaggie still is clueless about how she can defeat the angels, and the answer is right on her angelic weapon. Carmine talks about her time during the last extermination and how she saved her daughters from being slaughtered, which is also the angel we saw dead in the first episode of the show. All of this leads to a musical number called Out for Love. The song is Carmine getting serious and telling Vaggie how to defeat the angels. And of course, if she wants to defeat the angels, you have to be out for love. The song encourages Vaggie to fight for Charlie, and Carmine is impressed with her. Back with Charlie, she has a talk with Rosie. Rosie notices she has a lot on her mind, and it's of course being the fact Vaggie lied to Charlie about being an angel. Rosie asks how that makes Charlie feel, and it makes her feel angry because Vaggie kept a big secret like that from her. Rosie comforts her and suggests that maybe Vaggie was looking for redemption herself, due to her hotel being all about that. Charlie wonders why she wouldn't tell her, and it is difficult to admit to things like that. She also tells Charlie that actions speak louder than words, and that's what her actions said, and everything Vaggie has done this episode is what Charlie has said. Rosie then asks how Charlie usually pitches her hotel, and singing is how she usually does it. Rosie says to give it a shot, and we get the musical number Ready for This. When Charlie goes back out on stage, it encourages and uplifts the cannibals to defend the Hazbin Hotel. Charlie and Vaggie reconcile soon after, and both decide to go back to the hotel, where they all agree to help defend the hotel. The episode ends. The episode opens with Vox watching footage of the Hazbin Hotel training for their fight against the angels, and says he's excited to watch Alistair die. The cannibals are ready for a fight, and Charlie and Vaggie also get ready, as well as the rest of the hotel. Pentious takes the fight seriously and dresses as a general, and Charlie tells Nifty to stab any angel she can see. Nifty mistakes this for angel dust and almost stabs him before Charlie stops her. Vaggie is also shown training the sinners, helping them fight as the extermination occurs in 24 hours. Vox believes they're gonna die, and Charlie gives a speech encouraging everyone to fight, and she appreciates everyone in case they lose, and has seen the good in everyone. Vaggie invites everyone inside for some drinks before the fight happens. Alistair and Nifty bond before the fight, and so do Husk and Angel, Husk being proud of Angel for changing his ways. Pentious also confesses to Cherry, or tries to rather, and struggles really badly. He chickens out, and Angel and Cherry share a drink. Charlie is shown at Angel's room crying, and Vaggie goes to comfort her. And we get a musical number, which is the reprise of More Than Anything, except in the context of the current situation. I don't think I need to explain much there. Anyway, In heaven, Adam gets ready to send the exorcist down to hell to cleanse the Hazbin Hotel as well as all the other sinners in hell. Adam also condemns Vaggie and wants everyone in the hotel killed, and if any of the exorcist brings Vaggie's head to him, he'll give them $1,000,000 heaven bucks. He sends the exorcist down into portal forms in hell, with the hotel prepared for battle. The V's are watching it happen, which also shows they've been stalking the hotel the entire time. The angels come and the fight begins. The cannibals immediately attack the angels, and we get various shots of the hotel. Alistair forms a shield around the hotel, and Adam and Lute struggle to break it open. Adam also realizes how Carmine managed to kill the angels with their own weapons. Angel and Cherry are shown bombing the place, Pentious is firing cannons, Husk is throwing cards, and Nifty is stabbing the angels. Charlie and Vaggie are fighting side by side, believing they actually have a chance at winning the fight. Adam breaks the shield with ease, which gets everyone worried, and he faces Alistair directly. Vox gets excited seeing the chance of Alistair possibly dying, and Alistair and Adam begin their fight. Alistair greets him and says he'll end his life. Adam pulls out a weapon and Alistair resists. The two of them make jabs and comebacks at one another during the fight. Alistair tries taking Adam's soul as he struggles to find an insult to Alistair. Alistair slams Adam into the sign before Adam breaks his staff and knocks Alistair's guard down, making him lose his radio demon voice. Adam successfully takes him out, except Alistair doesn't die and he forfeits from the fight due to his injuries. Vox also celebrates and calls it better than sex. Adam laughs and tells him goodbye. Vox also calls Alistair a pussy. The fight down below continues, and Pentious gives out orders during the fight. Charlie apologizes to every angel she hits, and Vaggie reminds her not to do that. Charlie kills more, and so do Angel and Husk. An exorcist almost murders an egg boy, and Angel comes in to defend him. Adam launches light at everyone, and Charlie and Vaggie realize Alistair was taken out. Pentious realizes what's going on and kisses Cherry, finally confessing his love to her. He then makes the choice to face Adam directly with all the egg boys. Pentious tries taking out Adam, but Adam quickly notices what's going on and decides to kill him without a second thought. The hotel guests all mourn the loss of Pentious before Charlie and Vaggie decide to go up to Adam and Lute to fight them. Vaggie falls through the hotel and survives. Lute threatens to kill her and tear her other eye out, and the two get into a fight. Charlie tries saving her before Adam knocks her into the hotel sign and confronts her. Adam mocks her and Charlie attacks him. Back with Vaggie and Lute. Lute stabs Vaggie and says she'll spare Vaggie the pain of watching Charlie die. Vaggie flies up and knocks rubble onto Lute, holding her in place. Lute gets ready to die. Vaggie calls her pathetic and tells her to live only because she let her. Vaggie goes up to help Charlie and Lute loses her arm. Adam almost kills Charlie and the rest of the hotel inhabitants, but Lucifer comes in to save the day and punches Adam. Adam wonders how many people he has to fight to win, and Lucifer assures him he'll fuck him up. The two of them get into a fight, and they both insult each other. During the fight, Adam cuts the hotel in half, and Charlie falls through, but Lucifer saves her. And Adam tries attacking, but he is quickly subdued, and Lucifer beats the crap out of him. Yikes! Charlie says he's had enough, and Lucifer stops only because of Charlie. Adam gets up and gives his villainous breakdown on how all of them should be worshipping him because he started life and they are nothing but losers. Nifty saves the day and stabs him to death. Luke comes over to mourn her death, and Lucifer says to take all the exorcists back to heaven. The extermination is called off. Katie Killjoy congratulates them on the news and the hotel is destroyed. Everyone's just happy they are okay. Now, this is the only musical number where I'll actually go in depth, since a lot happens here. This is the finale song. Charlie mourns the loss of Pentious and applauds him for his sacrifice. She feels bad for it, because heaven could have worked for her, and believes she could have done better in the situation. Lucifer consoles her and encourages her to keep her dream going, that she was able to change hell, and her story has only begun. Everyone gathers around her and they all start rebuilding the hotel. Back with the V's, they sing about how Alistair is possibly dead, believing they might be at the top. They are confirmed to be the villains for the next season, so I'm excited to see them again, especially Vox. Alistair also has a mental breakdown about his near-death experience and comes out, saying the deal he's held on to surely has a back door, which gives more insight into why he's on a leash. The inhabitants continue to sing and put up a portrait of Pentious. Alistair also appears and continues to sing. The song ends and it's revealed redemption is actually possible, because Pentious went to heaven, shocking Sarah and Emily. Luke goes to confront someone in particular, saying her brat is down there trying to destroy heaven. That someone is Lilith, Charlie's mother. And that's the end of the season as we end on a cliffhanger. And I'm very excited for Season 2. Overall, I fucking love Hazbin Hotel. It was one of my fixations of this year, and I love this world, and its sister show, Hell of a Boss. I just want more. The songs, the characters, this entire world is amazing. I cannot wait to see what's to come, and given we've got at least 3 more seasons of this show left, I'm ready for whatever they have in store. I'm sorry this video had several delays, but it's out now. If you want me to make a video like this for Season 2, please let me know in the comments, because I had a lot of fun making this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next review. Bye everyone, and have a great day.